That's the way it is, though, right? That seems to be the most common stuff. It's like, go travel, have kids, get into a relationship, do all these things. Like,
And I'm not entirely sure. Like I'm still struggling personally, like even in this conversation, how those statements, like I can't dichotomize them perfectly. How those statements are different from the conversation we're having now, because they probably are kind of very similar, but there's something at least for me when I read those things that there's something missing, and I don't really know what it is. Do I really want a story? No, probably not, because as I just said, 2 months ago, if someone asked that question, I would have pretty much said my life story and the reasoning why, but like that's not exactly what I would want.
I think those generic responses are they're like action things,
actionable.
Yeah. It's like, what do you like? I think one of the reasons why people deflect discussions on mortality is because when you talk about mortality, you're not talking about life. Like it's sort of like this just base fact of existence is that death happens, and just talking about it, you can't really do anything about it, I guess.
Well, and it triggers anxiety too.
So it's unpractical.
Like this whole fucking conversation, my heart's been just palpitating. It's like I'm dying on my way home today.
Clock is ticking.
Yeah, it's always
we're
clicking.
talking every second.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think. But do you think, Teo, that's because like people don't synthesize properly, like between like this, how to metaphorically find meaning versus these tangible things? Like, yeah, sure, a way to metaphorically find meaning is to travel and do all of these things, but these are just like actionable suggestions. There's a ton of these things, but
I think it's the dichotomy of the implicit and the explicit. So like what's conscious, what's subconscious. I think a lot of people associate actions or associate intuitions or feelings or like subconscious metaphorical inclinations, if you know what I mean, with specific behaviors, specific actions, like, have a family. That's really meaningful. Or have, but...
Yeah, like having a family is being surrounded by people that you love and stuff like that. And so it's like, yeah, there's the metaphorical inclinations, I guess, to having a family that come with it, right?
And so maybe the distinction between the two conversations is the implicit is made explicit. In a podcast, probably it's going to be titled Mortality, or compared to asking some random stranger on the street, what do you think about death?
So how do you so going now that we kind of talked about it, like round table, how do you each deal with it? Because it's like, Gunnar, you can't live at 100% mortality anxiety all the time. You have to have some sort of coping mechanism. So like when these things come up, like how do you either change your mindset or like bring yourself down from the edge of mortality?
So I either sleep or I work as hard as I can. So I think I might be manic depressive.
that sounds exactly what I used to do.
Yeah, that's my coping mechanism. I either just get bummed out